So, when I posted my Grand Blue Fantasy Relink video a few weeks ago, I said that if I hit 100 likes on that video, then I'll buy and play Relink for the first time. Well, we hit 4 times that many likes on that video, so of course I had to try it for myself. I've been playing for about 3 days now on my Twitch and YouTube streams. I just finished Chapter 8 of Relink, and I've been having so much fun that I wanted to share my thoughts about the game coming into it as a new player with barely any outside information other than character names and people talking about sigils. Firstly, I really enjoyed the tutorial. I think Cygames did a great job introducing the player to the controls, and the gameplay was easy to pick up on. The characters are all pretty likable and interesting, and they all have their own kind of uniqueness or style, aside from this little Paimon-ass looking dragon. Speaking of gameplay and characters, wow, I will be honest. Watching the gameplay from an outsider perspective, I really didn't think I would like it as much as I do. In fact, I really love this game. It is so intense and overwhelming at times, but it never feels like the challenge is impossible. But I am playing on hard mode, so maybe it is a bit more difficult than normal. But I also might just be really bad at these kinds of games. I can definitely see where everyone was coming from comparing it to Monster Hunter or other character action games like DMC or something like that. But personally, I think this game has a lot of similarities in mechanics as Monster Hunter, JRPGs like Tales of, and even a bit of Kingdom Hearts at times, but it definitely has its own unique approach to the gameplay that I find it actually hard to compare it to anything, which is really neat. It's definitely its own game. Coming into the game as a new player, they really ease you into the core mechanics by having you control the main character, who uses combo attacks to help build up the potency of his skills to do more damage, or have increased effectiveness at higher levels, 1 through 4. It's a very basic combat system when compared to some of the other characters, but at the same time, I thought that it would be pretty much the same combat system for every character. Boy, was I wrong. When you finally decide to branch out and try new characters, which the game seems to incentivize you to do greatly when you receive your first crewmate character card. You realize there's a lot of depth to this game, and each character plays completely different from one another. Hell, even Zeta, who is my favorite so far, plays differently from another combo timing based character named Siegfried. Zeta does a lot of cool aerial dive bomb combo chains where you have to time her attacks correctly. Then she gets a cool finisher, and she has a counter as her Y button. Whereas Siegfried has the same chaining timing combos on his X buttons, but his Y is a very long range jumping overhead attack, which you can chain into from your X combos, and depending on how many combos you time correctly, it seems like the final hit has more hits to it. And it also seems like his Y button can be used to cancel out of combos and even cancel out of it itself with a dodge, which gives him a lot of freedom and mobility, which makes him feel a lot different from other characters. Aside from that, they even have their own uniqueness by giving each character their own abilities, which you unlock from the master trees. Some of them are very similar to each other, which I think is generally a good thing, so some characters don't feel too much better or more useful than others, but they all still feel very different. Although when I play this game on stream, I often get a lot of comments of people saying, "Oh, this character is really strong," or "This character gets really strong in endgame," or something like that. So maybe there's certain characters that feel like they perform better than others, but at this point in the game, I don't really feel that way at all. It feels like everyone is viable and useful in their own ways, which is really nice to see, but that's my perspective being only at chapter 8 so far. Maybe that will change when I hit endgame, just like how I will probably find out why people say the sigil system sucks or have problems with it. Hell, the whole combat system in general feels almost like a fighting game in a lot of ways, as if they were originally trying to make a JRPG fighting game off of the success of Versus, or just wanted to do a similar type of combat system with combos, skills, and ultimate moves. Overall, it's refreshing having such a complex combat system with so much depth, also being fairly easy to learn the fundamentals of. When you feel like you're challenging yourself or things get too stale with the characters you are currently playing, you can just pull a new one with a crewmate card and try a whole new playstyle. Also, I can definitely see the gacha summoning type mechanic with the crewmate card and weapon upgrading systems. It definitely has the DNA of a gacha game, but it's like they took out all the pay to win bullshit, and instead of making character pulls random or gacha based, they let you choose which one you want, which is also very refreshing to see. By the way, I am letting chat choose my new crewmate polls, so if you guys want to get involved in that and decide who I play next on the game, then follow me on twitch.tv/rathanoob and subscribe here so you can see when I'm going live on here next. As for how the story is so far, the game starts out pretty slow, giving a lot of exposition to the story, and honestly, it was a bit confusing at first because they kind of drop you in the middle of a journey that seems like has already started and they had been on for a while. Rather than meeting the other characters over the course of the story, the main character is already familiar with everyone. We even have our own waifu established already, aside from Roland, who we meet a little later. So they kind of spend a lot of the first few chapters letting us get to know every character with a lot of dialogue in the towns and cutscenes, which is why when I watched someone play through the first couple hours of this game, I was not really impressed. I realize now, after getting into the juicy parts of this game, I was very wrong with my initial perspective on Relink. But yeah, most games I play, especially JRPGs and an anime, they'll introduce the support characters over the course of the story, where the characters won't be as involved in the main character's life already. But in this game, it's like we're playing One Piece, but we already have our full pirate crew at the very start. It's almost like we're missing the pilot episode and just jumping right into the middle of Season 1. On that note, looking at the story, I can say that Relink has a lot of your typical RPG/anime tropes. The story isn't necessarily the most complex or interesting, and it's very predictable, but I will say I do find it very engaging when combined with the amazing gameplay, and I actually enjoy it a lot. That is what has kept me really invested in the story and characters, especially with Id, Lilith, and Roland, as I found more about them throughout the game. At first, it felt really just like your generic, oh hey, this is bad villain woman, and she has sidekick who is also very bad, and they kidnap waifu, and now we have to get waifu back from the bad guys. But it turns out it's a bit more complex than that, especially when we run into Ed during the volcano section and team up to fight one of the primals together. You almost get this sense that Id isn't actually wanting to go along with Lilith's plans and maybe even has some kind of protective feelings towards Lyria, wanting to keep her safe as the main character does as well. I called it early in the story that we would end up teaming together because it seemed like Id wasn't just an evil, strong bad man, but rather a more complex character, so that was really cool to see. I do really love the concept of the world being fragmented sky islands that we travel to using airships. Airships are like the iconic Final Fantasy overworld travel system, so it's really nice to see the inspiration from that in a whole new setting. As for the islands themselves, it was kind of funny being able to predict which island we would go to next because it's your typical RPG maps. You have the Forest Island, then you go to the Snow Island, and that's when I started predicting, oh hey, I bet we're gonna get a Desert Island next. Sure enough, Desert Island. And then, what's next? Maybe Volcano? Yep, Volcano Island. After that, it was a little more obscure. We went to like a Darkness Island or something. I don't really know. But I did still really enjoy what they did with each and every one of these islands. I think I really got hooked into this game in the Desert Island, when this little Lalafell looking bitch summoned her tiny potato henchmen and we killed them with ease, only to fight one of the most insane bullet hell type bosses in an RPG I have ever fought outside of Nier Automata.
Whoa, this is insane. What the fuck? What's hitting me? Whoa, what? It tracks? How am I supposed to know this before it happens? What the fuck? Oh my god. This is crazy. I love how they bait you with like this really easy ad battle first and then they throw all this shit at you.
Having to jump over alternating wave beams that sometimes double, and dodging whips of blade projectiles, and having 4 different animated weapons attacking you at the same time with different mechanics depending on the weapon, while the boss is in the center of all this, shielding herself and casting tracking blades that fall from the sky. Yeah, I was super overwhelmed, but when I finally defeated her, it felt very good. And that's when I thought it was all over, but boy, was I wrong. There's more. After a crazy boss fight, guess what? Now it's Shadow of the Colossus time, baby. I never would have thought that a game like this would have been the game that finally gave us a Colossus fight that was actually really enjoyable engaging, and challenging in a lot of ways, without feeling too difficult to understand what was going on. You have no idea how much I've been wanting a Shadow of the Colossus type game for so long now. I was pleasantly surprised when I got to this point, to say the least. And yeah, this is when I really got into the game. Oh my god. Are you kidding? How am I supposed to fight this? What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean fight this guy? Is it flying? What? What the fuck? How? It's too large for that. What do you mean? Oh, fuck. Wait, can I Rhapsody it, do you think? I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try. That'd be fun. Overdrive? What? He's launching missiles? Bro, you have no idea. For the longest time, I was talking about how, like, no game has ever, like, tried to live up to Shadow of the Colossus. And finally, a game has done it. Finally, a game has introduced a Colossus fight. For once, someone's done it. Meyerbeern. Oh, we're sliding down the fucking gun? Oh, that's pretty cool. Yo, this is badass. Link attack! In fact, that last mission I did in Chapter 8 was probably one of my favorite moments in an RPG in a long time. It actually reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. I don't want to spoil anyone who hasn't played Endwalker yet, so I won't be going into specifics, but there's a part where your main character is shrouded by darkness. Then in the darkness you find a beloved character speaking to you, and you bring back the light by calling upon your allies, which disperses the darkness, and you get this really cool reveal of a boss. Relink has done something very similar with the Bahamut fight against the Angry Man boss, and I was losing my shit because I thought it was so badass and just plain fun, even if a bit predictable or cliche in terms of overall story. I can appreciate what they did here. Do a phoenix thing. Oh shit, we're summoning Bahamut from the darkness. Cool. Oh, I get to fight as him? Yo, this is some fucking FF16 shit, dude. Oh, we attack faster and faster. Skyfall. The power of hand holding. I'm not stabbing fast enough. Oh, we got it. Oh, 9999. Also, I got this really awesome achievement for not taking any damage as Bahamut during that fight. Really cool, really satisfying. I had a lot of fun with it. Defeat him without taking any damage? Nice. Another thing that I love that this game does is when they give us gameplay opportunities that kind of break away from the core character action gameplay and let us use turrets, board airships, or even use mechs in one part of the game. I think these are nice ways to give the player a break from the usual fighting off hordes of enemies and then defeat big boss kind of gameplay loop, and it keeps it feeling fresh. It may take me a bit to figure out exactly what the game wants me to do in these moments, but it is good fun. It reminds me a lot of Monster Hunter Sieges, where you have to use cannons and ballista to fight off the giant monster, especially with the Colossus part. I feel like most games would have ended at this point, being the title chapter and having slain the big bad boss with Bahamut like that. It really felt like we had won the game, but nope, it just keeps on going, and there's even more to do, and I am all for it. So yeah, first impressions from a new player are that I really love this game, and I'm having a lot of fun trying new characters. I'll definitely be getting all the way to endgame in this game. When I do get to endgame, I hear this game is very fun for multiplayer, so I'll be opening up lobbies for you guys to join me and doing some streams with friends. So like and subscribe for more Granblue Fantasy Relink content, and come watch the streams on weekends. I know there's probably stuff I forgot to mention or talk about in this video, so let me know in the comments if there's something you want to hear me go over, and tell me how you feel about my thoughts on the game so far. Also, I'll be doing some Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen gameplay for the next couple weeks to celebrate Dragon's Dogma 2 releasing. I'm going to try to beat Dark Arisen again. It's been a long time. It's been probably like 5 years. I don't know if we're going to get it in 2 weeks, but I'm going to try to go for that. Anyways, follow me on twitch.tv/wrathanoob for that. Subscribe here, and I'll see you then. Bye.